Ladies and gents, welcome to another edition of the Anything Wrestling Podcast. We are back here once again. Today, once again, unfortunately, it is not a triple threat. We got a one-on-one match going on. It is the Shant.
Excuse me. I would like to make an announcement, but my name is the Commish, and not only will I be the advocate of this podcast today, but I will also be your kind of play-by-play breakdown guy for today's episode, since it is a review.
Well, hey, you gave the introduction. Let's get straight into it. Let's go. Let's do it.
Super Showdown starts the night off with a tag team match. The New Day defending against The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus. The match lasted about 9 minutes and 38 seconds, and it was for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Now, I personally still didn't get a chance to watch the match because I have a lot to say about the final match of this pay-per-view. So, Sean, if you want to give us a quick breakdown of what you thought of the match. Obviously, the New Day retained their titles.
Yeah.
Your thoughts first going into it was, if all champions retained, it's not a real pay-per-view.
Exactly. So that's what I was trying to put together while I was watching the first match. Is this a real pay-per-view, or is this just for money? Is it just for show? And I think by the time this match concluded, I pretty much concluded that, yeah, no championship is really changing hands. Then again, we were kind of shocked by the cruiserweight match, but we'll get to that in a minute. Of course, New Day, Cesaro, and Sheamus, all these guys can perform. They've proved that on more than one, event. The match was pretty good. I don't remember any memorable spots that I can say, this stood out to me. Pretty good match, and that's
So,
that's pretty
would
much
you
it.
say, because this match was almost up to 10 minutes, that this could have been like, if it was a real pay-per-view, kind of like a filler in for like the kickoff show at this point? Or would you say this, if this was a regular match that would have had title change implications or whatever, would you have put it in the middle of the show?
I would have put this in the middle of the show because I feel like I think we have to cover pre-shows and kickoffs at a separate time, but I feel like anytime if you're on that it's almost like a demotion.
Okay.
Like, we didn't have any space for you, but here you can be the filler of a pre-show, I feel like pre-shows should only have like gimmicky type of matches where you want to get the audience going or you want to give them a laugh or two. Mm-hmm. But Cesaro, Sheamus, and New Day, back on SmackDown like 2 months back, they had a great match, a wonderful match. And so when these guys are not on a real pay-per-view where the title is not changing hands, it kind of kills it because you know who's retaining or who's winning.
But do you think because of that, because they had their great match 2 weeks ago, that for them to kick off the show, it was worth putting them as the first match? I think so, because they're talented enough to kick off the show. At least
It is, and they are. But this match, personally, it didn't feel that way. Like, I feel like give these guys another 5 minutes and kind of reassemble the match. They could have given you a perfect 4.5-star match, if not even a 5-star match.
Yeah. So moving on, I think we're good on this match. A little bit of controversy starting into the next match. Charlotte Flair versus the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion and Sean's favorite, and also a favorite of mine, Becky Lynch.
Here we go.
Match 10 minutes, 50 seconds. Now,
I think you and I even were kind of going back and forth once this one ended.
I think what it was is because, okay, now we've said, and so has Dan, that this rivalry has a lot you can go with.
Yes.
Especially with the fact that, you have to, like, build the animosity even further. And I think the reason why we went back and forth is because of the tactics that were going on during the match, how the match kind of ended, and it kind of threw us both off, like, wait, this is how we're doing it, So Charlotte Flair won via disqualification. I kind of had mixed feelings about this match. I want to hear from you first, how you felt.
Well, first of all, I feel like their Hell in a Cell match was 100 times better because when Becky Lynch builds herself as someone who's just gonna go through the entire roster, and the best part is that at Hell in a Cell, she didn't even have to cheat to win. She won fair and square, and at the end, when Charlotte offered her hand, she not only did she not, accept the handshake, but she didn't attack Charlotte either. So it's like, okay, she's not taking the handshake, but she's not attacking you either. So she's proved her point, and she's gonna go do her own thing. But when you win by DQ, it's like, okay, after all that talk, really, I felt like this should have been a no contest. I think I even said it to you when we were watching. Maybe if like Charlotte gave Becky a spear right by the ropes, and Becky's arm is right underneath the bottom rope, and Charlotte pins her 1, 2, 3, and then the title changes hands, and the ref goes, "Oh no, her hand was under the rope." Reverse the decision. Becky walks out as champion. It's like Becky didn't really lose, but Charlotte didn't really lose either. So
Here's what I take of it. Like, honestly, like, this was a classic match between, like, your face and heel or anti-hero. However, we're labeling Becky right now. However, the WWE Universe is labeling her. I didn't like the fact that you see Becky at one point, she's like, you know what, F this, I'm going to walk out. I grab my belt and I start limping my way out. And to me, it's like, wait a second. Normally, anti-heroes wouldn't even do this.
yeah,
They would suffer an ass beating, but still find a way to win. Her doing that showed an implication of a full heel turn at that point. To me, I still have respect for the champ, don't get me wrong. I just didn't like the fact that once she was locked into the figure 8, that she had to grab the belt and hit Charlotte with it.
yeah.
And to me, that's like, okay, you got disqualified, you keep your belt, but you let Charlotte live to fight another day. But
Right.
It seems like it's the other way around. Charlotte let you live to fight another day. I would have preferred the way you wanted the match to end as well. I would have liked it better if Becky didn't start walking away.
Yeah.
That kind of upset me in a point where I'm just like, really? Like, you've been doing so many great promos. You guys have had this back and forth of kicking each other's asses each week on SmackDown. And this is what we get at Super Showdown.
Well, see,
It
again,
kind of kills the vibe of the rivalry.
it goes back to, is it a real pay-per-view? Is this just for show? Mm-hmm. Because, last night's Raw, did they show any highlights from Super Showdown, or was it like just kind of swept under the rug and we kind of moved
It was
on?
kind of swept under. The only thing you really get is just the implications of the competitors from the Raw side of the event. If anything, the only thing that's discussed, it wasn't on Raw, but it was later on in the night on Super Showdown that Paige already signed it, that there is going to be a rematch tonight between Charlotte and Becky, and maybe we'll get a more definitive women's championship match this time around.
And that's what leads me to believe, was what's going to go on SmackDown originally a plan for Super Showdown if Super Showdown was a real pay-per-view? Mm-hmm. That's the hard part, with Greatest Royal Rumble, Super Showdown, and with the upcoming Crown Jewel, you just kind of get the vibe that they're just really doing it for just show.
We've always had the WWE have events outside of the U.S. where these pay-per-views in like England or the countries that they're choosing nowadays, they have implications of like there's no title change, it's just there for the entertainment of the fans.
Yeah.
And sometimes those implications don't move on to the story that we get later on in like Raw or SmackDown unless there is a title change.
Yeah.
Either way, it's kind of like you're trying to put on a show, but I think with this one, it was bad how it ended.
Yes.
And it could have been better to me. A
Well,
little bit, not by like a big like ordeal,
because you did also get the attack after the match, which I've said it before, that Charlotte needs to have some offense, because so far this feud has been about 95% Becky and only 5% Charlotte.
Like if you can get like Charlotte to snap already or just like full on attack. Like
Yeah.
there's no harm in that. That doesn't do harm to your character at all, in my personal opinion. But again, we'll see tonight with SmackDown. Moving on,
Yes.
we have a kind of odd tag team match to me, but it's Bobby Lashley teaming up with John Cena against Elias and Kevin Owens. The match only lasting 10 minutes and 5 seconds.
Moving on to the next match.
Oh, come on.
Okay, see, this is one of those things where it's like we both saw it coming. I said it like 2 minutes into the match. Bobby Lashley getting his ass kicked. Then Cena's gonna get a tag the last 2 minutes.
Oh, you mean Cena bringing in the shovel?
Yeah, the shovel. And that big mop of hair that he has now.
He looks like JBL.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm not seeing it. I'm really not. Cena comes in, does a comeback, 6th move of Doom, which I'm still trying to understand.
It's an honor and respect to Jackie Chan, not Bruce Lee. Because Jackie Chan is training John Cena currently for an up-and-coming role that John has. So what John's done is he's taken the time to learn the move and also be respectful and apply it to his like finishers. But it kind of takes away from what do you call it? From the fact that like even in this match he did all his moves, 5-knuckle shuffle, attitude adjustment, and then the
6th move of Doom.
yeah. It's like
a 2K18 match.
It's like, are you really trying to like just like sell it that bad? Like, what's the point? I thought this match was like whatever to me personally.
Moving on.
And here's what bugs me. I before we move on, you have your guy Elias, which you say he's worth a lot more.
Yes.
To be done with. Personally, to me, with Kevin Owens, they're burying him so bad as a jobber.
God.
And it's like, you gave this guy so much in the beginning, and his first match, he kicked John Cena's ass. And now look at what you're doing with him. It's so bad.
I think that up until the Chris Jericho tag team, and then the breakup was pretty good, but their WrestleMania match sucked. I think from that point forward, Kevin Owens just went into obscurity. Teaming up with Sami Zayn, it's like, okay, you
That helped them a little bit. But here's the problem. If Sami never got hurt, maybe they could have done very well as a tag team and moved up. And that would have boosted Kevin Owens back up as well.
I question
Because
that
you could have developed the rivalry again with them.
Because do you remember what they were doing with Sami with Bobby Lashley?
That was Sami and Bobby though. When you put Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens together, it's money. I think so.
I don't know.
It's a weird grouping.
Well, on Raw, looks like Bobby Lashley now is a heel, and Kevin Owens is maybe a babyface.
I don't know. I don't like. Well, the good thing about it was that what's his name?
Leo Rush.
He was not there at Super Showdown, and my God, that would have been annoying. But on Raw, it's like, okay, you're selling it so well that he's turning, but you're overdoing it so much that I have to mute you. And I think I had to, even during highlight watch. I was like, oh my God, like shut
Closed
up,
caption.
man. Yeah. All right, but moving on. This tag team match is a women's tag match. I was just like, you're the hometown heroes, but you're also annoying as shit. The Iconics. I don't know how to say their fucking name. It's 2 eyes. I feel like I said 7 just now. Go one-on-one or go up against Asuka and Naomi. This match only lasting 5 minutes and 45 seconds.
For good reason. I think when we did our preview, I was in favor of Asuka and Naomi winning. I just thought that it was obvious, but I'd completely forgotten that the Iconics were from Australia. So had I known that, I would have changed my pick. I think that it was well deserved for Billie Kay and Peyton Royce to win. People might say that they're annoying and whatnot, but I think that's just a part of their gimmick, you know?
They remind me of like a SmackDown version of the Bella Twins sometimes. With their antics.
I guess.
With the way they portray themselves. And it's just like, I can't take you too serious, even though I feel you two have more of a wrestling repertoire than the actual Bella Twins.
Yeah.
I mean, granted that you're bringing Asuka back into the mix of matches. You know, she's getting her push again, but it's like she's hanging on to this in mixed match challenge right now. And that's not a lot to do with someone who is doing extremely well once again in NXT. You bring them to the main roster, and it's like, we don't know how much to do with you.
You go from longest reigning NXT Women's Champion, having the streak, to dancing.
Oh, no. Winning the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and then to dancing.
Triggers.
I know, but again, this is what happens. You had someone so well, and then you just bring them down.
For only $9.99.
On the WWE Network.
Do you really want to relive it? Never mind.
The whole event, at least. They can skip.
Skip the whole goddamn thing. Yeah, with Asuka, I feel like she shouldn't be... If she's doing like her regular dance when she comes out during her entrance, okay, I get that. But then when she's doing the dance in the ring and trying to mock the Iconics and trying to like, you know, be one with Naomi, it's like... And I don't got a problem with Naomi either. Like, I think that when she got her push back at WrestleMania 33, very well deserved. Quite frankly, she was the only one out of the Funkadactyls that was actually talented, who can wrestle, who can talk. She came up with her own entrance, so which goes to show you that she's trying to put in work of, you know, developing her character. But again, they just haven't been doing enough with her. And it's not even a Raw thing, it's a SmackDown thing, you know? So I just think that the biggest problem I feel is that the whole roster now is just convoluted with talent. You know, you think back into the Attitude Era, yeah, there were people that would come and go, but now with the installment of NXT, the night after WrestleMania on Raw, you are now guaranteed about 4 or 5 newcomers to come onto the roster. So that means when 4 or 5 people come in, the rest of the roster gets pushed down, and people get jobbed out. People are used for fillers. Yeah,
And there's so many people that are already on the roster that you kind of left their story unfinished.
oh yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Moving on to another SmackDown match. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe in a no count out, no disqualification match for the WWE Championship. 23 minutes, 45 seconds.
God bless Corey Graves for his one-liner. I said it. The first 5 minutes, okay, the match started off good. That's what you need, is when both guys are at the ramp and they just run to each other. That's when you can tell, hey, this is not a regular match where we're going to wait for the bell to ring. No, they're going to go out and they're going to collide. 2 minutes later, it took them 15 minutes to grab a weapon and use it. And I'm like, guys, you're not supposed to be doing this. We've seen this twice, and guess what? Nobody really wants to see it. And Corey Graves comes in with his one-liner. He's like, I'm surprised it took them this long to actually start using weapons. Lackluster. Very lackluster.
You have a heated rivalry. And I say that in quotations. That's lasted for how many months now in the WWE?
Like 2.5.
But these two have known each other for a teen amount of years. And it's just like, okay, you had way better matches in TNA or Impact, whatever the hell they're called nowadays. Jeff Jarrett, please get the name right. Or give us a name we can all remember.
TNA is hiring.
According to Kurt Angle. But to me, it's just like, this is honestly the worst way to have this rivalry continue. I get it. It's a super long ass ramp. So if you're coming in as a champion, you hate this guy supposedly Why not just take off the belt and just go running towards them and start fighting? Why
Well-
not take the fight through the fans or the WWE universe? Why not, make this real personal like other wrestlers have when they've hated someone?
Undertaker and Triple H did it. They were fighting all over the arena. Granted, it wasn't 30 kendo sticks and chair shots.
I don't care. Like, these two are younger, faster talent. They should be able to put on a better show. To me, I agree with Corey. It took this long for a weapon. And then on top of that, like, who was it that supposedly hurt themselves?
Samoa
Joe. But then all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, you're, like, back to normal almost? Like, what the fuck? Like, that was a bunch of crap to me. Like, honestly, this match could have been so much better for how long it was. And it was bullshit. It was bullshit to me.
How long was the match?
23 minutes, 45 seconds.
Honestly, you could.
And I think that is the second, it's the second longest match in the whole card.
And honestly, you could have shaved it down by 10 minutes and have had a more entertaining match had you
I
started.
think if it ended 10 minutes earlier, it would have been better.
Because, I mean, they started off good. That's how you're supposed to start. But then 2 minutes goes by and we're back to
Bullshit.
holds and a regular match. Anyway.
It was crap. Moving on.
Yes.
And I apologize for Sean's triggers that are about to go off in advance. This is the Raw 6-woman tag team match of the Bella Twins with Ronda Rousey. I'm not saying the other name. I'm not saying it because of the month it is. I'm just going to call her MRRR.
Murr.
Screw it. Bella Twins and Mouse Rat Raccoon.
Would it have been easier to just say it the first time around?
I just want to mess with you.
Of course you did.
The Bella Twins and the Mouse Rat Raccoon. Unfortunately, she wasn't a koala. That would have been funnier. Versus the Riot Squads, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riot, and Sarah Logan. Okay.
Let's get to it.
No, who wants... Oh, and the match was 10 minutes, 5 seconds. Who wants to take this? You or me first?
Oh, you can go.
Okay. Typical 6-person tag match. Your heels are doing most of the beat down to the first two. You have the freshest one. But here's the thing. Of this match, you saw the seeds planted. So I think for Super Showdown, it was great that this had implications leading to Raw on Monday.
I called it.
In the beginning of the match, you have Nikki or Brie? Nikki and Ronda discussing who starts the match first. And it kind of seemed like, no, I want to start it. No, I want to start it. And it seemed like one of them was getting a little bit feisty about it while the other was like, all right, whatever, I guess.
Brie, being the humble one, was like, oh, you guys do your thing.
Oh, okay. Humble.
Brie is humble.
Well, according to...
Compared to Nikki.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Comparing the two. But I'm saying for what the implications lean onto it. So, Nikki gets an ass beating. Brie gets an ass beating by all 3 members of the Riot Squad. And they were trying to build up Ruby in this match a lot, from what it seemed like to me. As far as pushing her like she comes from nothing. She wants to earn the chance at Ronda for the belt. That she has the ability to do it. But what kills me is her partners, the Organ twins, Logan and Morgan. Those two kill Ruby's push. Because you hear them. I don't know if you heard through the match how much they scream and it's like, okay, we get it. You're trying to attack. You're trying to build up this offense, but you have to scream like Banshee's doing. Really, it's kind of annoying. And then on top of that, Ruby's the one I think in this whole match taking it serious, just kicking ass and just trying to hey, I want to be a really good singles competitor against Ronda.
Ruby has been by far a standout. She can wrestle, she can talk, she's very distinguishable. I mean, I'm hoping that they give Ruby her due.
I hope
and
so.
Soon.
And then, of course, to end the match,
What move was that?
no, there's a reason why I'm pissed about this. It kills the move, and I will tell you why it kills the move. So Brie tags in the raccoon into the fight, and of course, like, she's striking everybody down, she's taking everyone down, throwing them out, and of course her stupid nod to Roddy Piper with her, what is it? Her, what do you,
The tank top?
where she hits herself and then attacks?
Is that?
The striking attack?
Also, that's a nod to Roddy Piper?
I think he used to do it. You said it yourself.
No, I
during
said
the
Ric
match.
Flair.
Roddy Piper used to do it too.
It's where she like hits herself on the shoulders and the thighs, like trying to amp herself up, supposedly.
And then she goes on the striking attack, and then she grabs Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan together, both arms, into a double armbar. And not even 5 seconds.
Not even 2 seconds.
I personally just don't like where this went as far as the build-up of Ronda, personally. Because like I said, when we discussed everything that's happened for the last few months with, Asuka, and then her horrible letdown of taking her moment from the Royal Rumble, and then of course building herself up from not only one WrestleMania a few years ago, but from this WrestleMania where she beats Stephanie.
Stupid.
And then she takes the championship away from Alexa at SummerSlam, sidelining her, mind you. We've said enough about Ronda, but the fact that there's a heel turn kind of puts the implication that at Crown Jewel we now have what is going to be, where is it? Well, they haven't announced it, but it seems like so far it's supposed to be a Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey for the Women's Championship.
Did I not say it? That's
Do you want to mix in the talk about Crown Jewel now or after?
We can. Go ahead.
Here's my thing. You're leaning into Crown Jewel, which is another event outside of the U.S. in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Personally, I know you would want the belt to change hands because I know you don't want her to be champion anymore.
In the words of Bray Wyatt, anyone but you, Ronda.
Me personally, I don't like the fact that she even has the belt. Because honestly, it sucks that like you had such a good heel run with Alexa and then you hand it off to Ronda. And Ronda all of a sudden is like the biggest thing in the WWE within less than a year. And granted, there's been other competitors throughout the years that have had that, and unfortunately they get instantly buried real quick. But with Ronda Rousey, it's like, you could be something big if you were developed the right way. You came along and pushed yourself and made years and years of your career. But no, it's like you needed the push, you needed the attention now. And now we're getting a stupid match that I personally don't like. Or actually, I'm sorry. This match leads to Evolution, not Crown Jewel.
That.
I get it.
So then there's that.
I get it that Evolution is supposed to be the first women's all-female pay-per-view.
But there's kind of screwing it up, let's be honest.
And with that match, I'm not okay with, because it's like, why? Do we really need that? Do we need it now? I don't know. I really don't know.
Moving on.
And last thing, do we really need the Bella Twins any longer? They've already developed their brand big enough as it is.
See, I paid attention last night to Monday Night Raw. If you take a look About 60% of Raw and all the exciting moments was a return of some type of legend. Cause you had
That's what's carrying the show.
never mind.
No. Go ahead. But it's what's carrying the show. Let's be real.
But that's what I'm saying is that when you talk about the Bella Twins coming back, that's exactly why. Is that they always rely, okay, ratings are dropping, what do we do? Oh, okay, yeah, you can come back after not having a match for about a year and a half and getting up one pop out of the audience.
It got to the point, okay, you have your Universal Champion who can't even carry the show. So what do? You have the COO and his retired best friend.
Which I know you want to make a comment about.
I will, when we get to it, carry the show. You have the Bella Twins carrying the show.
Kurt Angle.
Carrying the show, which she's on kayfabe vacation.
Lita and Trish.
Carrying the show. Roman, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, not your job. That's right. But moving on to what I think was one of the best matches in the event, the Cruiserweight Championship match between Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander. 10 minutes, 35 seconds. The title did change hands, but my God, I think this was the one match where my phone was not in my hand. I was focused from the minute the bell rang to the minute that the final 3 count went down.
And I will be completely honest, and you can go back and see our Super Showdown preview when I say this, is that I think this was the one match where we're like, oh, yeah, Cruiserweight, okay.
Like, we thought that should be the match that would have been the beginning and filler of the show.
We didn't give it enough credit, and we thought, oh, this is, it's going to be whatever.
Yeah.
But it actually,
I think they stole the show.
I would say most entertaining match on the show, and shockingly, the title did change hands, so that was kind of like the point where you're like, okay, I know we said no title change hands type of pay-per-view, but then this happens.
Do you feel like this was the push, though, for 205 Live?
Triple H is running it, so yes.
So, here's the thing. Obviously, you have the hometown hero with Buddy Murphy coming in, back to his hometown of Melbourne. And he got the biggest pop, I think, of the whole rosters of everybody that night.
Yeah.
My God, these two, like, honestly, like, they put on a show. And, like, granted that Cedric lost his belt, like, he had to do everything. I think twice.
I think there was like a 3-move sequence where he did like 2 signatures, a finisher, and you're like, okay, that's it.
That has to be it.
And he kicked out.
But I like the energy these two had. I like the what they brought to the match. Like, I think if you had this go on for another 5 minutes, it would have been entertaining. Or even if you cut it down, it would have been an entertaining match.
See, we go back to AJ and Samoa Joe cutting down the match. See, you don't need 30-minute matches to get the crowd going or to get something exciting going on. And once again, if anyone needed further proof that Triple H knows what he's doing more than Vince McMahon, there you go. For only $9.99.
Not $10?
It's not $10.
Not $1,000.
It's not $1,000.
Not $1 million?
It's $9.99.
So yeah, like, honestly, I love this match. I really did, because
Very much replay value like match.
oh yeah, and if it doesn't get an award for best match of the year for cruiserweights, or just in general, or not even a nomination for it, I'd be very disappointing.
Yes.
Because I think in a long time, at least this year, I haven't been as entertained and excited instantly as I was with this match. Congratulations to Buddy Murphy now winning the title. We'll see what these implications carry on to Live 205 or 205 Live.
205 Live.
205 Live.
And I'm sure your celebration will be very blissful.
Once again, Shant is jealous that Buddy Murphy is the man. Hint, hint.
Be careful. If our third co-host gets a word of that, then...
Yep. We'll see what goes on from there. Now leading into the next 6-person tag match.
Here we go.
We have apparently they didn't have a nickname, but I'm still gonna call them the Dogs of War.
Okay.
Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre versus The Shield. 19 minutes, 40 seconds. I think if you cut down on their intros, or at least on The Shield's intro, because that took like an extra 10 minutes. Because what? That crowd is huge.
That was huge.
And it didn't seem like they were as far away from the ring. But it took them a while to get down from wherever the hell they were.
So, question. What in the hell is going on? And who booked this shit? Because this match opens up, and my boy, Seth Rollins, takes this ass beating for what seemed like an eternity. And this was not a Shield match. Let's be honest. I didn't get the sense of a Shield match here, a full on 6-man tag team.
This
match.
was just a regular, like, 6 guys are in 2 teams kicking each other's asses. It didn't really feel like the Shield. Because, don't get me wrong, I loved how they came out. With the masks, obviously in their gear, you know. That was awesome. But everything else to me was just like, what is going on here? I've never seen Seth take that much of an ass beating from anybody unless he's in a singles match.
But
He's selling it.
Do you realize that when they need someone to sell for like a good 7 or 8 minutes, it's always Seth. Longevity.
Well, because if you think about it, I think he has the more stamina of the 6.
I remembered back to that 65-minute match that he had, where he beat Cena and Roman and
He carried the match.
basically. And so that's what I kind of remembered. I'm like, when they need someone to kind of have that extensive beatdown or have that extensive moment in the match, it's always Seth. So, yeah, I didn't get any vibe that this was a 6-man, you know, or that it was a Shield match.
Here's my thing that kind of bugged me was, why are we breaking into people's kitchens?
Do you want to explain it for some people who might be lost?
Okay, so at one point, who got speared into the
Braun
stand?
Strowman.
By Roman, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Roman spears Braun Strowman through the rail, and I think that thing was like meant to be broken because of how quick it just fell apart.
It was for Gile.
You see the flooring of the Melbourne Stadium, and it looked dirty. So the first thing it reminded me of is some Mother's Kitchen.
And the fact that they took yellow tape to try to cover it.
After the match, that was the worst of it all.
And I remember your remark was, that's their way of fixing it?
They could have just, it looks so fragile, you could just put it right back up. But no, let's just put yellow tape. It solves everything. I thought this match was, because what, I think this is, okay, this is the 3rd longest match on the card. It could have been better.
What did you think of that one part where Dean Ambrose gets up on the apron and you're like, oh no, he's
okay. So
which I didn't buy. I threw it out there like 10 times before anything happened.
Here's the thing. You have what? Braun, Drew, and Dolph each get up on one apron of at least 3 of the 4 sides of the ring. And then you're wondering, okay, Seth and Roman are in the middle like, oh crap, what do we do? Dean's probably knocked out. But then you slowly see Dean get on the 4th side. You're like, wait, is this really happening tonight? What's going on? But it wasn't sold to me as well as everyone thought it would have been. So obviously, instead of like all 4 attacking, you see Seth and Roman clear the way for Dean to just spear himself out of the ring and onto, I think, Drew? Drew was on the side? Or was it?
Braun.
But either way, like, you have, like, just, I guess, the revival of the whole match where everyone has their energy again to go at it.
And do you see, that's what a Shield match is supposed to be. Like, at that moment where Dean gets into the ring and just dives, I feel like that's when we just started having a Shield type of match. Because
everybody starts causing chaos. And honestly, just like the Samoa Joe AJ Styles match, there wasn't as much weaponry or anarchy in this match as there could have been, as there should have been. Which we get this match carry over to Raw. Rematch. Different implication this time. I think this time Drew McIntyre won the match instead of the Shield winning.
Yep.
But there was something odd that happened. At that point, only Seth and Roman are in the ring. Dean's outside upset, and he leaves on his own. I don't think it's the heel turn for him personally. I think because Seth was looking on more concerned, like, where are you going? Roman's just behind Seth, like, I don't care. He had the look of, like, I don't care.
Really?
I'm the one. I still think, and I'm going to call it, I think Roman's going to get the turn to heel.
Really?
As much as I don't want it to be, like I said, I want him to leave. I want him to lose his belt and disappear for almost a year, but I can't have that unless he gets really hurt. I think he's going to be the one to turn. I think Dean is just probably frustrated.
Because I thought Roman was actually selling it good. I know, shockingly, I said something good about Roman for once. And Seth was, you can buy anything that Seth does. This whole thing with Dean Ambrose, is he turning, is he not, has been teased and teased. Again, I feel like this is the result of non-long-term planning. Because if you think back to SummerSlam, where we were all fully convinced that Dean was going to turn, he didn't. Seth becomes champion, Roman becomes champion, and all of a sudden they're in this 6-man feud where the Universal title is not being defended, the Intercontinental title is not being defended, and you just put these 6 together. It's also really surprising to see how Braun Strowman and his pack are actually getting more of the advantage. Because, for a long time there was a notion out there that anytime if it's a 6-man type of deal, that the Shield they're gonna get the job done because that's where they excel. However, it seems like this time around, Braun Strowman and his pack actually are the ones who are getting the advantage. So,
I mean, we don't know where this is going. We wish we had a better idea of where it would go. Like I said, I want certain things to happen, but I can't get my way always. How dare I? But again, I thought that match was okay. Especially for the Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta. They changed it to India I forgot for what reason. Just because it was, I guess, that side of the world. But who knows?
For only
$9.99. Moving on. This match, oddly, in the way that it ended, how quick it ended, but there's a lot rumored to go around.
Talk in this one.
Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for a shot at the WWE Championship, being the number 1 contender. 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Before we even talk, we don't really have to talk about the match. We could just talk about the rumor. Well, okay. It ended quickly with what?
Roll-up?
A roll-up and an odd, count. Because some people were thrown off that it was did he really count 3? Or did he fall into, the 1 and then it was the 2-3? So Daniel Bryan beat The Miz. Everyone was wondering, wait, what's going on? This match should have lasted a lot longer. Why are we burying this one so quick?
So, 2 things. Number 1, it seems like Daniel Bryan could have gotten
re-injured.
I don't know if it's a concussion, but his match with Shelton Benjamin, there's a point where he does the diving head, but I think Shelton gets out of the way, but Daniel catches Shelton's shoulder.
It looked like his head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, it caught Shelton's head?
Head to head.
Okay.
But there was a lot of speculation of that it could have caused Daniel to get another concussion, which he's already on concussion watch. He cleared protocol, supposedly.
But he gets checked after each and every match, so...
But he was cleared for Saturday. That's what they're saying. I thought at first, I was just like, is there something to this because they're worried about him getting hurt even more on Saturday? Or are we just taking precaution?
And there's also the second thing was a time constraint thing.
Because Triple H wanted more time for his match, right? That was one of the rumors I heard. No, what did you hear?
I just heard that it was a time constraint, but there was no specification on who it was.
So another thing that's going around is the whole implication that what was going on, I guess, with the weird count is obviously, referees wear earpieces. That's where they get the control of, hey, this is what goes on. You need to kind of give the signals and the clues. And we all know it. We all know that's what happens sometimes in these matches. And I guess Charles was having difficulty.
Miscommunication.
Yeah. Which led to the weird 3 count, because even then they're saying there's hesitation in cueing his music.
Yeah.
And ringing the bell. So it's just like, okay, either we missed out on something or something's wrong is happening. I personally would have loved to see this match go a little longer if Daniel could have gone. And I think Daniel would have won it, even if it was a longer match. Or you don't think so?
No, I mean, I think it's fine, but again, Daniel's run since he came back has just been
Lackluster?
Yeah. I even felt that the whole Miz and Daniel Bryan feud would have been, more than it is now. Like, SummerSlam was fine, I guess, but then when you go to Hell in a Cell and you put in Maurice and Brie Bella, and then you have the Super Showdown match where it's only 2 minutes, it's like, this was the one feud where you were supposed to build and prod properly. 8-year feud, 8 years of hatred and whatnot, all culminating. That's the showcase match that you gotta write really good for.
But I don't think because most rivalries take 3, if not 5 matches, sometimes to
Typically,
really.
yeah.
The fact that this is the 3rd and we ended it this way because of safety issues and all that, I understand that. I would have wanted it to end at Melbourne. You're ending it at a what is considered like a gimme pay-per-view.
There you go.
To be honest.
That's the problem.
And it's like, this is what we're doing? Or are we doing something where at Crown Jewel, between AJ and Daniel, The Miz is still around? And does AJ keep the belt even longer? Don't get me wrong, AJ, I think, has had one of the best WWE title runs in a while. Second best CM Punk's. But the fact that we're going into Crown Jewel with AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad match. It's not. But what are we going to get out of that match? Let's discuss that a little bit. Like, what would you expect out of this match?
Just another case scenario where you find any excuse in the world for AJ to retain.
So you don't see the title changing?
It's Crown Jewel. Like, already with the Braun
Well,
Strowman.
do you want me to give you the breakdown of the event?
Sure.
Obviously, Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar versus
Him.
Versus the Universal Champion.
Okay.
Take Braun out, and we've seen these two already fight countless times for 2 years already.
But do you see how beyond obvious it is who's going to win here?
The fact that you have to include Braun in the match kills it for me.
Because these guys are in a 6-man feud essentially, and it's like, okay, for one night, let's put that aside and let's have you two be in a title match.
It's like, really? Do we need this? Like, are we really gonna continue this on? I guess we are. I guess the people in Saudi Arabia need to see you guys again. They already saw you in the Greatest Royal Rumble without Braun. And then, of course, you have AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, which should be a good match, but it's like the belt's not going anywhere. AJ's still gonna win.
They got to stop with these. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with WWE going, to the other side
Like
of the
traveling
country.
the world.
But don't make it matches where it's like, oh, it's beyond obvious who's gonna win here. It's you're killing it. It's like you're no longer paying attention to storyline. You're just paying attention to, money.
I think that's what's the cause of these events is because it's a money drawer.
It's all about the money.
And now let us move in, which was by far the longest match of the whole night. Even though it's booked at 27 minutes and 35 seconds, not including introductions, not including the rule change, not including the aftermath. Triple H, last time ever,
Quote unquote.
versus the Dead Man, the Reaper, the American Badass,
The Phenom.
the Undertaker. Along with Shawn Michaels on Triple H's corner, Mr. WrestleMania,
Bald.
the Icon,
Bald.
Bald, Mr. WrestleMania, I mean. Bald Icon. Along with not only the mayor of Knox County, not only the devil's favorite demon, one half of the Brothers of Destruction, Kane. Okay.
That long pause.
I literally, after Saturday, I had to watch this match like 4 more times.
Really?
Yes. To understand it. To really accept what happened.
What bothered you? What made you feel this way?
I don't know how I feel. I really don't know how I feel about the match because honestly, like, this is one of those matches where it's like, this is something I've been kind of waiting to see again, but at the same time, I'm like, I kind of can do without. You know what I mean? Okay, if you take away the fact that it took like almost what? The Undertaker's entrance alone was longer than the Daniel Bryan match. I think. Okay, the match itself, it had everything I wanted. They
But it
fought
was
each other.
weird.
Why was it weird?
I don't know.
Is it because of how old they are? Is it because
No.
like
Like
weird in what sense? So I can understand it.
okay. Because at first I said it before. Triple H winning, that's fine. As a matter of fact, I was like, by God, let have Triple H have one.
I think he only that's his one. I think the Undertaker's always had this one-sided.
But shenanigans a lot.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. The match itself, the way the commentary was done by Michael Cole and Corey Graves and Renee Young.
Get Renee off commentary.
No, she needs to develop.
Here's the thing. Before anyone thinks that we're sexist, when Renee was in NXT, I loved her commentary. I don't know what the hell has happened, but ever since she's been commentating on Raw, I can't buy her commentary.
She needs time to develop even more. She's not as ready yet for the big show, but who is ready for the big show nowadays?
Well,
I felt like the three of them were selling Shawn Michaels so much. I don't know
Shawn
if you
was like a ref. He
No,
was fragile.
but the thing is, like, I don't know if you heard how much attention was given to Shawn. And that's one of the reasons why I had to rewatch it. Like, I had to watch... Look, I've watched this match in its full entirety 4 or 5 times without the commentary on literally on mute, just watching them fight. I watched it with the commentary, and I try to block out the Shawn Michaels mentions. Shawn Michaels is mentioned a lot more than Undertaker and Triple H.
Okay.
Even more than Kane. Well, and honestly, Kane didn't do much. Shawn did more of the work. Like, it seemed like Shawn carried this match. And he's not even in the goddamn match. He's not. He's a cheerleader. He's a coach. It seemed like he wanted Triple H at one point to tag him in. I was just like, why are we selling Shawn Michaels so much? Are we really trying to sell the fact that he's coming back? That he's coming out of retirement? I don't know what it was, but like this whole match to me, it was gonna be given to Triple H at that point. If you had Shawn be a lot less than what he was, I think I would have been okay with that. I think it would have been a good match. Granted, Shawn not interfere, but then again, I kind of wanted the sledgehammer. I wanted the chairs. I wanted the table. I wanted more than one table getting broken during the match. Granted that the only other table in the whole fucking arena was the commentary table. There could have been more than one table broken. You say there's shenanigans in this match. I say without the shenanigans, it would have been a boring match.
I think the shenanigans should have been within reason. So
Some of it was.
Some of it, but a lot of it was like the second one of the guys tried to do something, either Kane or Shawn Michaels would try to like somehow stop it. And I thought that if you wanted to sell DX versus BOD, you have minimal interference in the match, and the very end of the match, you do exactly what you did. Because I think that's shock value. I think that's, I kind of saw it coming, I'm not going to lie. But I felt like this match, it was supposed to be Triple H and Undertaker. But it's like you said, it was more of Triple H, Undertaker, and Shawn, like where we left off at WrestleMania 28. And it's like you said, Kane was there, but like all he was really doing was just standing there. So
I think what it is just the.
It's like, weird. It's very weird.
I get it. The way WrestleMania 28 could have ended was how Super Showdown ended. The super kick into the pedigree, into the 3 count. Granted that The Undertaker had a lot more energy then. If he had that same energy now, he still would have kicked out. And they both would have been in shock like, damn it. Like, he kicked out of a super kick and a pedigree. Granted, that was the second pedigree he took?
Yeah. And the second super kick.
I was just like, that's not how I wanted it to end. I legitimately wanted a pedigree only. I did not want Shawn to kick him. I didn't want to see the super kick at all. It really, like, I think what killed it for me was the way it ended. The way Triple H won. Like, granted, I wanted Triple H to win. I didn't want him to win like that. I think that's what bugged me about the match. I wasn't in shock that he won. I was in shock of how he won. And then, the grant of respect, pick him up, all 4 of you. And then the bigger shock value, which kept me quiet even longer, was the whole Undertaker Kane disrespect. Granted, that story, I wanted this to be done. This should be over already to me.
So you're not a fan of DX versus BOD?
If we're being honest, no, I'm not.
Keep in mind, this is his favorite. Shawn Michaels is his favorite wrestler.
Yeah,
so.
he's number 1 to me, greatest of all time. Next to Stone Cold, next to Undertaker, next to The Rock, next. I think that's it. My top 5 list is here somewhere. I forgot where I put it. But it's like I don't need these guys to carry the show. I don't need them to keep going anymore. Like why do we need this to keep on going? Do we really have to keep going with this? You know what I mean?
That's the thing is that once again you sell it. I hate that line where the commentators go, "You will never see these men in the
Nope.
same ring at the same time ever
I'm
again."
Fucking tired of hearing that.
It's like you said that at WrestleMania 28, and we saw it at Super Showdown. You said that at Super Showdown before the attack, and now we're gonna have a tag team match at Crown Jewel.
Okay, I get it. Triple H was pissed and carrying this to Raw, and this was kicked off the show. The fact that you have Triple H starting the show. Really? Really, Raw? To me, it's just like, okay, DX is back together one more time. Amazing when DX started in 97. Awesome that they carry themselves all the way to 2000, 2001 almost. The revival in 06 was great. It was okay, not as much in 09. 9 years later, we really have DX one last time. And I'm not including their one night pop-up even again. I'm just saying, like, I get it that, like, there's this push to bring Shawn Michaels out of retirement. I don't need it. If Shawn wants to include himself in the WWE as a producer or as developmental talent or as a writer, whatever he wants. Because honestly, he can't leave what he's known forever. The industry he's grown up with. That's fine. He can work alongside Hunter if he has to.
I gotta say, I'm shocked. You know, I thought that
Are you shocked by me or
yeah?
Why are you shocked?
I thought that you would be like jumping out of
Welcoming?
your seat. Yeah, HBK back.
I would be if it was just him. If at one point, let's say the match ended the way it did, with Triple H still winning, let Triple H leave. Let Kane leave. And as the Undertaker's about to leave as well, Shawn's right there to push no. Like the way I would have loved it if that match ended after the four held their arms together, Triple H and Kane leave, Undertaker's getting ready to leave, Shawn grabs him and I'm not done with you yet. Super kicks him one more time. And Shawn tells him, you know what? I have enough left for you. And I'm not afraid of you. It's not out of fear anymore. And the respect is gone. Then I would have been okay. Then I would have been like, holy shit, Shawn Michaels wants The Undertaker alone, one-on-one. Nope. That's not happening for me. It's a fucking tag team match of DX versus the BOD. And don't get me wrong, I love the fact that, you have your Hall of Famers / legends, coming back again. And these are four great guys. They're honestly, 20 years from now, I will still talk about these guys. And I will include Braun and Brock and AJ and Daniel Bryan and Seth and Dean into these conversations.
I love how you put 2 out of the 3.
Oh, he'll never be mentioned. He will be right in that category where Snitsky and Test and other people are.
Ooh.
Oh, I hate Snitsky.
Speaking of Test.
Yeah. I hate Snitsky. I really do.
And Ronda.
But
anyway,
you get where I'm going with this. The fact that these four have to go into the next worldwide event, it's no. Why can't it just be Shawn versus The Undertaker? Why can't Shawn get the win this time on his own? I think DX will win. I'll call it right now. DX wins. Because honestly, let's talk about the match itself. We haven't really focused on Triple H versus Undertaker. I think Triple H had it the whole time, offensively. Granted, the chair and the sledgehammer were involved a lot, and my God, Triple H can still take a fucking chair shot.
Oh, man.
Really well. And I'm sure he's hurting these last few days as much as he's like, I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm the game. Fuck, my back hurts. Because Jesus, those chair shots reminded me of the Attitude Era.
Oh man.
Has anyone even thrown a chair like that hard lately?
I was telling you, I mean, in the WrestleMania 28 match, there was like 20 chair shots to the back, and the fact that they still continue that match, it's like, oh. But I don't know. I caught an interview like 2 weeks ago before Super Showdown, where HBK said, I would be willing to come back for quote unquote one more match, but it would have to be in more of a tag team setting, because he thinks that one-on-one,
What, he can't carry it?
he might not be able to give you what you expect of Shawn Michaels.
The fact that he's recognizing his age and where his body is at is one thing. I wish there was. Come on, you're gone for 6 years. You're not training as much. I think you still have it. You're just not as confident as you used to be. Personally,
That's their storyline.
or maybe it's blurred lines of reality as well.
There you go. It's the reality era.
But yeah, I think Triple H had the match offensively throughout the whole time. Granted, I saw the Hell's Gate again, but it seemed like Undertaker was desperate for that. 'Cause you can
Very
hear him
much.
screaming like,
So we got reference to WrestleMania 27 and 28 in this match. So I think they were trying to like give you a flashback of all their chapters, you know. I don't know. This match, it's weird, and not like in a really bad way, but like in a way of I don't know what to think about it.
that you don't know if you can love it or hate it.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat because honestly, the shock value is there more than it is the appreciation of it. And granted that it's always been one-sided with The Undertaker winning everything against Triple H, and Triple H finally getting all one W out of the many L's he's taken to The Undertaker. It just seems like this match is just like you don't know what to think of it. Some people are like saying this was a good match, others saying it was a horrible match. I don't know where to put it. I don't know where to categorize it. And the fact that we're moving this rivalry into Crown Jewel for November, it's like, guess. You know, it's like I'm not excited.
Had this moved on to Survivor Series, it's like, okay, something always big goes down at Survivor Series.
Well, it seems like Survivor Series is always the pay-per-view that has changed drastically for a lot of wrestlers. Montreal, Austin in a car, because someone did it for The Rock. That's where it was born. He was the one who ran him over. And when was it? On Survivor Series.
For
The Rock.
there you go.
But yeah, the implications of this match obviously led to Hunter and Sean coming out on Raw, starting the show, announcing that, you know, they're back, if the world is ready, if they're ready. So we asked, are you ready?
Yeah.
No, I said, are you ready? I can't even sell it, I'm sorry. I'm not ready for this. I can care less for this, like I've said. Sorry,
Anyway.
Hunter. Sorry, Sean. I love DX, don't get me wrong. Crotch chop, but no, I can do without this at Crown Jewel. If it was just Sean and Undertaker, way better sell.
Yeah.
Let that be Sean's final match. That'd be okay. But I don't know. I just I'm not sure what to think of this, honestly, because again, like the shock value was there as far as during the match. The post match actions really had me just like, I have to leave, I have to go. I was shocked at what I saw. I need to watch this again when I get home, and I got home late that night, and then I saw this like once Sunday, twice yesterday, being Monday.
For only
$9.99. And then one more thing I guess we could talk about leading up to Crown Jewel. So we'll just talk about the matches real quick. Obviously, We already gave you our input about DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. What do you expect out of this? Like, in the last 10 minutes we have to talk.
Again, I'm expecting if you put these two guys in a ring on a real pay-per-view, and look, guys, please no one take any offense to this. When we say real pay-per-view, you gotta admit that these are just pay-per-views that are
Like they're throwaways.
They're essentially, yes. So, but in a real pay-per-view, you put these two together, you're gonna see something. Dare I say, a 5-star match. But when you put them in crown jewels, so we already kind of know, okay, it's not a real pay-per-view. It tends to favor titles not changing hands. And usually the matches, if you really pay attention, seems like they tend to favor more shenanigans than anything. They can
Shenanigans.
favor DQs, countouts, no contests, stuff of that nature. So that's
the match doesn't even happen.
Wait, which one?
No, just in general sometimes.
So that's what I'm kind of expecting at an AJ and Daniel Bryan. Maybe a good scuffle between these two for a good couple minutes, but then it's like you said, The Miz comes out. I'm not finished with you yet. We probably lead to something into Survivor Series.
AJ gets annoyed with this. He challenges them both.
That could be an idea.
A triple threat between those three would not be bad at all.
Not at all.
And if you keep Daniel Bryan out of SmackDown competition for a while, just have him be storyline, maybe he will put on a better match. Because honestly, right now, the way Daniel Bryan is going into this match, he'll still compete, but they're still worried about him as far as concussion protocol is concerned.
Yeah.
And of course, the triple threat match for the Raw side, the Universal Champion versus Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. I think at this point, that's all he's going to be referred to as.
Okay.
Wait,
what if he loses the title?
Then I will be happy to call him the former champion Roman fuck you Reigns. Again, we've seen just the champion and Brock fight it out. I like that Paul Heyman came back last night, kind of like to let everyone know. And this is the thing you have to love about Paul Heyman. He lets you know what the universe is really thinking. And he let it out last night. It was like, really? You were going to see this again? These 6 again? Woo. My man is waiting for you. Like, Brock is waiting to kick your ass. And you got to love Paul Heyman. You really do. Like, I think if you were to put Paul Heyman into creative or into storyline for Raw, he could bring Raw back. I really think he can. But no, you don't want to put such a talented mind.
Quite frankly, you and I were hoping that the Universal Champion would win against Brock at SummerSlam just so we can put an end to this whole goddamn thing. But it seems like they're still going at it.
Like, is it that Brock has to carry it? Is Vince like, how much more money do I need to give you to stay a little longer to sell him? That's what I feel. And it's like, don't give Brock the money. I thought Brock was going back to UFC. Which, by the way, if you didn't catch all the mayhem after that last match of UFC 229, you should find it. Obviously, it's not on the network, but find it somewhere on YouTube or Instagram. You'll find it. It looked like WWE Attitude Era shenanigans. After choking out McGregor, and he just jumps into the trainer area for McGregor's team and kicks his ass. And you have like 2 other people of that guy's team kick McGregor's ass. Like, this is WWE shit. This is like, if like the leader of fucking who was always up against DX team wise? Give me a team. Give me a team.
Nation of Domination.
Okay, if this is if like The Rock went to go jump at like someone in DX, and then the New Age Outlaws came in and fought the rest of the nation. It's like, what the fuck? This is great. Wrong fighting promotion, though. Bring this to the WWE. What the fuck? I thought it was great, just at the wrong promotion. Oh man, and
the excitement that's in the air right now.
And that's what I'm wondering. It's like, why isn't Vince investing in Braun Strowman? Like, hey, you deserve this belt. You deserve to be the Universal Champion. People already like you. And even if you're a heel, they still like you. You can sell this. Fucking Big Show was a champion at one point of this company.
Ooh,
Why can't you be a champion?
Okay.
No, because I'm investing in a fucking moron who The Rock can't even sell.
For The Rock.
That Dwayne can't even push. Because, oh God, like it's like this triple threat match. We already know who's going to win. Do we want him to win? Personally, I don't. I want the belt to change, but not to Brock Lesnar. Brock needs to leave. If he is leaving, or if he's staying, for fuck's sake, go back to being full-time.
Good luck.
He's not, because he's lazy. I don't see that same fire Brock Lesnar had when he first came.
If you think about it, the Universal Champion and Strowman were having a match, and this was Strowman's cash-in. But then Brock comes in. And I go back to Dan the Man's point where he said, we literally just told you that we don't want to see Brock and the Universal Champion face off each other. And when Strowman is in the mix and he's having his match, you bring Brock Lesnar back. It's like, we just told you we don't want to see him right now.
We don't want to see him against Roman anymore. Or the Universal Champion anymore. He needs the belt off to go back to the name. Instead calling him by his name. But yeah, there's no need for Brock anymore. Because Brock isn't as invested as he used to be. Again. Oh, and then I forgot to mention the WWE World Cup.
What the hell is that? I'm still trying to understand what the hell
It seems
that
like
is.
it's what it's supposed to be. It's 4 participants from Raw and SmackDown are competing in, I guess, a Battle Royal type of match.
So Survivor Series.
Or it's kind of like, I think, a regular 4 versus 4 thing. It has to be a Battle Royal because so far there's only 2 Raw participants. I thought that this person was a free agent. I didn't think he was representing Raw. But John Cena is one of them for Team Raw. And who I thought was the Conquistador. No one can see me do the Conquistador's dance. Eliminated Baron Corbin because he thought he was going to get the win by eliminating, 7 unknowns? God, it's like he has no way of pushing himself. And he gets eliminated by his boss, technically, Kurt Angle, who's quote unquote still on vacation. How do you feel about the way Kurt Angle came back? I kind of liked it. I thought it was okay. I mean, granted, it could have been better.
Raw could be better.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah, I it's so funny. Like, you look at 205 Live, you look at NXT, you look at SmackDown for God's sakes, and you're like, my God, this is what WWE is supposed to be. Then you look at Raw, then you look at Super Showdown and Greatest Royal Rumble and Crown Jewel, and you're like, what the hell is going on? I'm at a loss for words. I really don't know. Not to say that SmackDown doesn't have its flaws, because it obviously does, but I'm at a loss for words. I really don't know. It's like, it hasn't even happened yet, but I can already tell you that Crown Jewel is probably going to be a very lackluster pay-per-view.
Well, let me tell you, at least to give you some idea of feeling better about it as far as the World Cup qualifying match goes. We have 2 matches scheduled for SmackDown. Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe in a qualifying match. Randy Orton versus The Big Show in a qualifying match. In a qualifying match. I like those two matches to see on the SmackDown side who
Do
qualifies.
you see how SmackDown just by that is doing better?
You don't even have to talk about like how the matches are gonna go. Just naming the 4. It's like, okay, I'm gonna turn on SmackDown tonight. Who's on Raw? Well, we got the Shield. Okay, but is he still there? Yeah. Okay, I'm turning it off. But we still have Trish and Lita. Oh, wait. Okay, I might turn it back on. But we have Nia Jax and Ember Moon, and I'm turning it back off.
Let's quick second. Trish and Lita now, they were supposed to have separate matches, and now they have a tag team match at Evolution. This is what I'm talking about. You build something up, then you just kill it midway. I thought that Trish and Alexa was great. I think a lot of people made comparisons, of like Attitude
Old
Era.
versus new.
Exactly. Mickey and Lita, I'm like, why? Lita, you couldn't find a better opponent for Lita. But
I would
now-
have loved to see Lita versus Ruby. I think that would have been way better. And it's old versus new.
Yes.
Just like you would have had with Trish versus Alexa. But no, it's like, let's just put old and still relevant and new together.
Anyway.
Not to say that I'm not a fan of Trish and Lita. I love ladies. You guys are awesome. But
Again, Raw doing what it usually does.
okay, I would figure if Stephanie is doing this pay-per-view, because it seems like she's in charge of this whole women's evolution thing, could have booked better matches.
100%.
But that should be for another episode next time.
Definitely. There you go, guys. We reviewed Super Showdown, previewed a little bit of Crown Jewel, Evolution, and, what's to come in the next couple months. But let us know what you guys think in the comments section below. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next time.